juicy melons!
The Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for a while now, and as I mentioned in my Mario Kart World review, it was a real wait for Donkey Kong Bananza, since there weren't any other launch games besides Mario Kart World. And now Donkey Kong Bananza is here, and I finished it, so now the question is, how good is it? And I'm so glad you asked, because it gives me a great opportunity to tell you not only why Donkey Kong Bananza is great, but also why it's more than Mario Odyssey with Donkey Kong and bananas instead of moons, because it's more. Much more. So, let's dive into it. In Donkey Kong Bananza you play, as you probably expected, as Donkey Kong.
Well, duh.
There's a sort of gold rush going on in which DK is a miner searching for bananiums, banana-shaped gems. However, these are stolen by the evil corporation Void Corp, creating a sinkhole in the process. Eventually, you find a purple stone in this sinkhole that can talk.
Oh, scared me.
And at an Elder Kong, it turns out to be Pauline, a teenage girl who can sing incredibly well, but suffers from terrible stage fright. And yes, we do know her as the Pauline from Super Mario Odyssey. You're advised to search for the Bananium root in the Earth's core to stop Void Corp's evil plans. So you set off on an adventure full of creative levels, searching for Bananiums. It tells a story about the bond between Pauline and DK, about fears to overcome and wishes to be fulfilled. It's not necessarily a very deep story, even though the game does go deep itself. But it's enough premise to keep you playing, and once you're in the game, there's nothing more fun than finding bananiums, or let's just call them bananas from now on, in all the different levels, as well as tons of treasures, fossils and gold. And you do it just like DK can, with a fair amount of demolition work. The gameplay is more than just platforming, and that's where this game not only distinguishes itself from Mario Odyssey, but also gives the platformer genre a whole new dimension. You can destroy almost anything, and I say almost anything because the game does set some boundaries that are indestructible, but there's still plenty to destroy. For example, if a banana is on the other side of a ravine you can't jump over, you might still be able to dig your way to it via a detour. You can dig through mountains, go underground to not only find treasures but also solve puzzles and therefore bananas. And you need these to unlock new skills, which are very welcome. Think of improved sonar so you can more easily find hidden items, or more hearts, but also certain skills. And so, while the game does have Odyssey vibes, it's something completely different. What also gives Odyssey vibes is your loyal companion. Where there was a cap in Odyssey, it's Pauline here. She's the only one with voice acting in the whole game, but she plays also a significant role in the gameplay itself. With her singing, she can help DK in various ways. The singing can guide DK, but you can also use it to take on various forms. The gorilla, zebra, elephant, ostrich and snake, each with their own skills. Zebra, for example, can run quickly and therefore also over surfaces that would otherwise collapse. The snake can jump very high like a spring, and the gorilla, or Kong in this game, lets you hit much harder, which is useful with certain enemies or hard obstacles. The elephant, on the other hand, can suck in things like lava or other dangerous obstacles and then shoot them away. The ostrich is, in my opinion, the most useful one, especially when it comes to exploring, because it allows you to fly and glide, allowing you to bridge large gaps. These are transformations that you learn through the story mode, and they add a cool extra layer to the already quite unique gameplay. In co-op mode, player 2 controls Pauline, who rides on DK's back. You can fire words so you can more easily defeat enemies and bosses, for example. However, I played through the entire game alone because I don't have any friends, and even without that extra support, the game is perfectly playable. Except for the final boss, which is a huge difficulty spike. The demolition adds a welcome new dimension to the genre, and that really elevates this game to a higher level. Demolishing everything and digging tunnels to find secrets is incredibly satisfying. The only criticism I have is that you cannot make anything collapse. For example, knock out the foundation of something and it just floats in the air. Ah well, it's not so bad that I really want to criticize the game too much for it, but sometimes I still wonder, what if? What if you could collapse things to solve puzzles? Also, a small issue that comes with the gameplay is the camera. It really has a hard time to keep up, and although it succeeds most of the times, which is already an achievement on itself, you will come across some issues with it.
Almost didn't see you there.
The presentation is, as you'd expect from Nintendo, top notch. The levels are colorful, the music fantastic, and the graphics are typical Nintendo. It's not necessarily as creative as, say, Mario Odyssey, partly because you can actually bypass most obstacles by destroying them, but you'll still encounter a fair amount of creativity in the worlds. Technically, the game also runs smoothly. The biggest issue that came up during the preview events were frame drops, and that the game was already reaching the limits of the Nintendo Switch 2. However, this is not so bad in reality. Yes, there are occasional frame drops, but they are not that bad. It's solved by also using slow motion effects, especially during destruction and smashing, and as long as you don't confuse that with frame drops, you'll see that it's not that bad at all. Stupid. Look, I know I did compare Donkey Kong Bananza to Mario Odyssey quite a lot for the past few minutes, because on the one hand, it's quite similar, but on the other, this is such a different take on the genre that some comparisons are completely apples and oranges. Nevertheless, I can say that, as a last comparison, just like Odyssey, this is a system seller. A must play if you already own a Switch 2, and definitely worth considering if you don't. This might just become my go-to of this year, but I have to say, Borderlands 4 just came out and KCD2 is definitely a contender. Anyway, I give this game a 9.6, because this is truly a top-notch game. And that concludes this review. What did you think of Donkey Kong Bananza? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And for live gameplay, you can visit my Twitch, twitch.tv/gameplayofj, and don't forget to follow there too. For more videos, check out the suggestions on the left or the channel on the right. And for now, thanks for watching, see you in the next video, bye!